Finally, a good excuse to get an Assetto Corsa race in. The news this week that Low Fuel Motorsport was trialling AC on its platform has created a real buzz among the sim racing community, so I thought I'd sign up and give it a try. It's a Mazda MX-5 Cup race at Lime Rock Park and competition is fierce. I'll be starting from P18 on a grid of 25 and my qualifying time of 1:00.5 is well off the pace. To stand a chance of fighting for the top 10, I really need to get those lap times down to under a minute. Now, I had very little practice before jumping into this one, so can I improve as this 20-minute race goes on? Let's get down on track and find out. Here we go then, the lights are green and we are underway with a new era in Assetto Corsa online racing. 25 Mazda MX-5s hurtling towards turn 1 at Lime Rock Park, and the grid actually seems fairly spread out, so it's not going to be too congested into turn 1. I am going to tiptoe through this corner though and hang it out just a little bit wide because we've got Kima Roldan on our inside, so I've got to give him space, but that will give me the inside line for this upcoming left-hander, so we should hold on to 18th position. Roldan tucked back in behind. And incredibly, it seems like all 25 drivers have got through that opening section cleanly. That might all change now though, because we're running the South Chicane layout of this circuit and things get really tight in here, and sure enough there's a car out onto the grass. That is Eric Fiedler, who started from P12 on the grid, so we've picked up one position on this opening lap. We're up into P17. But I might have a fight on my hands to hold on to it. Kima Roldan having a look up the inside into that right-hander. I hang it out wide once again and keep the momentum. I'm holding on to this position for now, but Roldan is not making it easy for me as we approach the end of lap 1. So I'm going to move over to the right, so I've got a defensive line heading into turn 1, and I'm glad I did because there was a car facing the wrong way on the racing line. That was Victor Pellon, who came to grief big time down the start and finish straight. Roldan got through safely as well. He had no choice but to go wide into T1. He did get his nose in front briefly, but we've held on. Right, let's go back and check out a replay to see what happened on this first lap. And Eric Fiedler was the first casualty. He gets elbowed out onto the grass coming out of that right-hander, and then approaching the chicane. He's out onto the grass again. This time he just runs out of room. That is going to severely affect his braking performance into the turn, and he flies in sideways. That was one position gain. And then at the very end of the lap, we saw an even bigger incident down the start-finish straight. Now watch Victor Pellon and the yellow Mazda. He's in the middle of this three-way battle. There's a lot of weaving going on, and Pellon gets this rear-end tag. That spins him round. He does a complete 360 as he crosses the line. Now, we actually picked up two positions there, one from Pellon with his spin, but also one from Jordan Burrows, who was in pit lane serving a drive-through penalty for a jump start. So as we return to the live action on lap 3, we find ourselves inside the top 15, but still under all sorts of pressure from Kima Roldan behind. Into the South Chicane then, it's getting really busy in front, and Ruben Simonite is well offline going out over the hill. He's down on pace, so we're going to move over to the left and try and get around him. Oh, but Simonite comes back across to the left. I had no choice but to lift there and clip the grass, and that has caused me to lose a position to Kima Roldan. Yeah, Roldan was in the right place at the right time there. He was able to nip past and take not one but two positions. He's gone from P16 to P14. However, Simonite is going to fight back here on the inside into T1. It looks like he's in the position to make the pass stick. We're right behind to pounce in case anything goes wrong. There's a bit of contact. We move it out a little bit wider to avoid it, and I've gone out too wide. I get two tyres on the gravel to the left. That has cost me yet another position. Matteo Grappioni gets past. He's up into P16. We're down to P17. Well, let's take a look at the replay. Firstly, Ruben Simonite getting it all wrong through the chicane. Now, at the end of the first lap, I got lucky with my guess to get around Pellon. I wasn't so lucky here. I moved over to where I thought the space was, but I soon got squeezed out, and that cost me a position. And then at T1 at the start of lap 4, I lost another place. This time I'm out on the grass to avoid the contact between the two cars in front. Back to the live action then on lap 6, and I've regained one of those positions when I crossed the line. There was a car in pit lane serving a penalty, so that has promoted me back up into P16. I'm trying my best to keep up with the cars in front, but I've got bigger problems in the rear view mirror. Jordan Burrows is closing in fast, but that's not going to stop me getting back into the top 15 because Mario Heitler has come a cropper at the end of the lap. So we're now up into P15, but Burrows is going to attack as we approach T1. However, I've got the run on Matteo Matteo Grappioni in front, so I'm going to move to the inside. Not only will I defend against Burrows here, but I might get a position myself because we've got the inside line through T1. Will Grappioni fight back around the outside? He's not able to, so we've made the pass. We're up into P14. Has Burrows got through as well? They're side by side going through the left-hander, and things heating up nicely as we approach 1/3 race distance here at Lime Rock Park. Right, let's go back and check out a replay to see what happened to Mario Heitler at the end of the previous lap. He just clips that curb on the inside. It's so easy to lose the rear when you clip the curbs in these Mazdas. So that was one position regained, and then at the end of the start-finish straight, I got another one. I got on the inside of Matteo Grappioni and then made a textbook Lime Rock Park pass. Now I'm facing a real challenge here to hold off Jordan Burrows behind. It was Burrows who served the drive-through penalty in the early stages of this race for a jump start. He actually started P7 on the grid, so he is quick, a lot quicker than me. He's reeled me in, and I've got no choice but to defend for my life here. But with 12 minutes of the race still to go, I don't fancy my chances. We're not even at the halfway point yet, but we're going to try and hold firm on the inside. There's a bit of contact as I drift out a bit wider than I would have liked. But Burrows is cranking up the pressure now. I'm still in P14, but for how long? Meanwhile, in front, Roldan's a little bit sideways. Is he going to save that? He's going to slide to the right. We guess left. Oh, we guess wrong. We give Roldan a massive hit, and that costs us all our momentum. We've lost 1, 2, 3 positions. Oh, that was really unfortunate. It looked like Roldan was sliding to the right, so I chose to go left, but then that Mazda suddenly snapped back, changed direction right in front of me. I had no time to react. We'll take another look at it, but before we do, let's check out the contact in the previous corner between me and Burrows. It was only minimal contact, but it did rattle me a little bit. Look, I take the inside line, but I drift out too wide. That was on me. And while I thought that I had my handful with Burrows, little did I know that the real danger was right in front of me. Kima Roldan losing it through this right-hander. Oh yeah, you can see when the tyres grip, that car just completely changed direction. One final look from my onboard. At this point it looks like he's going off to the right, but then yeah, suddenly switches to the left. I've got nowhere to go. And of course, although I gained one position with Roldan crashing out, I soon lost 3 more. Jordan Burrows gets by, Matteo Grappioni gets by, and Mario Heitler gets by. So we find ourselves down in P16 again. However, as we approach 2/3 race distance, we're going to get back into the top 15. Look to the right of your screen. There is a car exiting pit lane. That is Patrick Mastola. Now, Mastola qualified P4 on the grid. He was one of the front runners, but he's had to make a pit stop here. We get past in front of him. Meanwhile ahead, we've not been able to keep in touch with Jordan Burrows. He has cleared off, but that's no surprise. We knew that was going to happen given his pace. However, I have been able to keep up with and close in on the 2 cars directly in front of me, Grappioni and Heitler. This is as close as we've been to Grappioni since he got back past us, and as we approach the South Chicane, look into the rearview mirror. We are going to lose Patrick Mastola. He gets it all wrong into that turn. So that is a real boost for me. Mastola, one of the quickest drivers on the grid. His qualifying time was a 59.1. That was more than 1 second quicker than what I could manage. So I thought I was going to be under attack from Mastola, but now he's crashed out. There is a huge gap behind. No pressure at all. Ruben Simonite is in P16, but he's more than 8 seconds back. So I'm free to concentrate on the matter in hand, and that is trying to get past these 2 drivers in front. And I feel so much quicker than Matteo Grappioni through this section, but there's just no way through. I'm going to have a look on the inside of it. I take a bit too much of the grass. That thwarts my attempt to try and push it up the inside into that left-hander. So we're going to have to stay behind for now. There is a back marker further ahead. Will that cause a problem? If we catch up with him at the chicane, that will be tricky. Heitler's got past. Grappioni just gets past before the chicane. Oh, it's going to be tight for us, though. I've got to adjust my line to make it a slightly tighter entry to get through okay. Fair play to the back marker, Miguel Suarez. He did get out the way brilliantly there, but it cost me a bit of time. Right, we've jumped forward now to 3/4 race distance, and I'm working as hard as I possibly can to try and claw back that gap to Matteo Grappioni. It's currently 0.7 of a second. Heitler in front of him has managed to open up a little bit of a gap. He's now 1 second clear of Grappioni, and with less than 5 minutes of this race left, it might be a position too far for us now, that P13. So we've got to put all our efforts into trying to get that P14 before the end of this race. We know that overtaking doesn't come easy on this Lime Rock Park circuit, so a good exit out of the final turn is vital to try and put myself in the best possible position to make the pass into T1. We've done just that. We come roaring out of the final corner. We've got much more pace than Grippione. We might even have the pass done before we get to T1. We had that much extra pace. So yeah, it's job done on Grippione. We're up into P14 and now we've got 3 minutes to try and chase down Heitler ahead. However, there is a back marker in between us at the moment. It's absolutely essential that I have a clear track in front of me if I'm going to close him down. Hopefully the back marker Esteban Sanchez will get out of the way. Yes, he does do brilliantly. We're able to cruise by and now the chase is on and I'm making real progress. We've jumped forward a lap and that 1.5 second advantage is now down to just 0.5 of a second. I've taken 1 second out of Heitler over that previous lap, so P13 is not out of the question after all. I think we're going to get 2 more laps after this one. Oh, but I'm a bit hot into the chicane there. I opted to go for the grass in the end. I didn't want to take my chances on that curb. So a definite track cut there, but I'll take that at this stage of the race. I've got to do everything I can to try and keep with Heitler, put myself in the best possible position to challenge for that P13 over these final couple of laps. We're certainly not close enough at the moment though down this start-finish straight. We need to be closer than this to get a toe and make a move up the inside. So this is all about closing the gap in. Maybe we can break a little bit later into T1. We do, but it causes a slide. The rear steps out, but I've managed to hold onto it and now we are right on the tail of Heitler. It's just 0.3 of a second. He will see me in his rear view mirror. If we can't find a way around him, maybe we can put him under enough pressure to force him into a mistake. Oh, speaking of mistakes, there was a small one from me there. I just clipped that curb on the inside. It unsettled the car a little bit. I've managed to correct it once again though into the chicane. And it seems like we've lost a bit of ground. Heitler has opened up a 0.8 of a second advantage. Yeah, unfortunately, unsettling myself on that inside curb through that right-hander proved to be the end of my challenge for P13. I just couldn't do anything to close that gap back down again over the final lap, and I had to settle for 14th position. But for my first ever Assetto Corsa race on Low Fuel Motorsport with no practice, I'm pretty happy with that. Here are the classified results then, and it was mission accomplished in terms of lap times. I said that I needed to get my lap times down below a minute, and sure enough I did that. My fastest lap in the race, a 59.6, so I got much more competitive as the race went on. So what are my thoughts on Assetto Corsa joining the Low Fuel Motorsport platform? Well, in one word, brilliant. I've always loved AC, but rarely get to drive it. With my sim time being so limited, I've always preferred to focus on online ranked racing. Now, I've had some fantastic community races in Assetto Corsa, but the lack of a proper ranking system with high participation has stopped me from firing it up more regularly. However, with Low Fuel Motorsport on board, this could transform the Assetto Corsa experience and breathe new life into a classic but still awesome sim. Assetto Corsa and Low Fuel Motorsport, it really could be a match made in heaven.